3, 2, 1. And now we are live. Hello friends, good morning. Hope you are all doing well. Okay, you are staying home and staying safe. Right. So friends, as a part of our discussion today, we'll get into our sentence types, chapter number 2. Okay, already previous videos, previous chapters and first part of sentence types and first chapter communication is already there in my channel. Please go and view there. And now we will continue with this. So till now we have discussed what is meant by phrase, clause, direct objects, indirect objects, what is meant by the subject, what is meant by predicate. Okay, so all these aspects we have already covered, friends, in sentence types. Now we are moving on to verbs. Okay, so let us start with verbs directly, friends. So as a part of our discussion, here we are. Now we are discussing about verbs. Verbs means what? A verb means what, my dear friends? Something in action. Action or occurrence or indicates a state of being something. For example, what are meant by verbs, my dear friends? For example, playing is an action, which is a verb. I'm studying. Studying is a action that I'm doing, that we acting like studying is different. Okay, but studying itself is an action which I can call it as a verb. So something, if at all you are doing something, if at all you are doing or being something, you call it as a verb, my dear friends. Okay, nama? Simple in our basics, our school day English, right? Our school day English is very simple. Now let us get into details of it. In every sentence, the most important word will be verb. Obviously, friends, I am going. Okay, what are you doing? I'm going. I am going itself is my verb. Going is my verb. Correct, amma? So what are you doing? That is very, very important whenever you communicate with somebody. For example, I am talking, I am studying, he is driving. Okay, he is playing, she is actually kicking the ball. So all these things are actions. Kicking is the action that she is doing. So in majority of the sentences, what will happen? You will have some sort of verbs involved. Because of those verbs only, the proper meaning of the sentence will be conveyed. Right, friends, then we have various types of verbs in that also, so that actions can actually be represented in different ways. What are those? First one is my finite verb. In finite verb means what, ma? It agrees with the subject in number and person also. It also changes according to the tense of the sentence. So here we are talking about finite verbs. Finite verbs means finite means countable. Finite means what? Countable. Okay, such kind of thing. So here this kind of verbs will actually change along with the nature of the subject you're talking about. For example, I. Who is I? Subject here. I'm talking about I. Okay, now I is a single person. I'm talking about myself. So then am is going to be my verb, which is added finite verb. I am. What am I being? I am a teacher. Next, he, single person, singular third person. Okay, he, we are talking about he. Is. Am became is. She, single person, singular third person. Goes. Will I say they go? They goes? No, they go. When it goes to plural, it becomes go. So like this, if at all a verb, here you see goes, go, these are all verbs. If at all they change as per the subject, if those change as per your subject, if a verb changes according to the subject, we call it as a finite verb in simple terms. Understand? You are a good boy. He is a good boy. See, are became is. Understand? I am a good boy. Am, are, is, third person is. I am a good boy. You are a good girl. She is a good boy. She is a good girl. Correct, ma? So am, are, is. You is a good girl. Che, it's worst. It's not correct. You are a good girl. See, my verbs are getting changed according to the person we are talking about. According to subject, me, you, they, it will change. Understand, ma? Which we call it as finite verbs. What is meant by non-finite verbs means what, ma? Non-finite means it does not change according to the person. Few things will not change according to the person. Few verbs you will not change. Let it be single person or I'm talking about myself or you or anybody else. Doesn't matter. That won't change. Your verbs, if they do not change, we call it them as non-finite verbs. In non-finite verbs, we have three types again. 3 or 4 types given to us, or 3 types given to us. What are those? Infinitive verbs, participle, and then gerunds. Okay, now infinitive verbs means what? For example, in the form of the verb generally used like a noun. Please underline that. Whatever I am highlighting, friends, whatever I am highlighting, please ensure that you are please underlining that and practicing those terms very properly. Infinitive verbs means what? These verbs usually I use them like a noun. Noun means what? Noun means a person or a place or an object. Correct, amma? So if at all you use a verb as a noun, you call it as infinitive verbs. Okay, for example, you see to err is human. Sunita loves to dance. To dance, actually dancing is a actual verb, but here to dance is a form of an art which is a noun. So to dance becomes a verb. To dance, dancing is actually the verb. Dance is an art which is a noun. Correct, amma? So but when you say to dance, noun became a verb. Understand? Or verb being used as a noun. So such kind of things we are calling it as infinitive verbs. Okay. Apart from that, we have participle. Participle means what, ma'am? For example, verb which has nature of both a verb also and an adjective also. Adjective means what? Adjective means where we are describing what sort of a noun it is. Okay, for example, see here, he sat on a broken chair. Here you see broken is an adjective. Broken is an adjective. Obviously, he sat in a chair. What kind of a chair it is? Adjective actually adds what kind of a noun it is. Okay, what are the attributes of the noun it is? Chair is a noun, but what kind of a noun? Broken chair. Broken is it is not proper chair, it is broken chair. We are adding some attributes to it. Similarly, we met a girl carrying a bag of fruits. So you met a girl, okay, but what is she doing? She's carrying a bag of fruits. So carrying, that itself is a verb also, that itself is an adjective also. She's carrying some fruits. She is not just a normal girl, a girl who is carrying the fruits we have met. Understanding, friends? So if at all you use a verb and as a noun, you are calling it as infinitive. If you use a verb as an adjective, you are calling it as participle. And similarly, gerunds. What is meant by gerunds, ma? Is a verb which ends with ing and has the features of a noun and a verb both. If at all you use something, any verb which ends with ing. Okay, so it will be, for example, like playing, reading, studying. Oh, don't tell all these things, sir. Okay, playing is okay, but what is the studying, sir? Not good. Okay, fine. Now playing, reading, studying. Okay, eating. Okay, all these things which ends with ing, they become our gerunds. Normally, if you remove those ing, all those becomes nouns. For the nouns, if you add ing, it becomes verb. If you remove ing, it becomes noun. Such kind of things. Okay, Nama? Good. Next, you have auxiliary verbs. Next category of verbs which are auxiliary verbs. These are like our helping verbs. These are like what, ma? Helping verbs. It means without using those types of verbs, sentence will not be completed. Sentence will not be completed. Such kind of verbs we are calling it as what, ma? Auxiliary verbs. Usually what will be examples of that? For example, am, is, are, was, he, were, has, have, had, does, did, do, did. All these things will become a part of our auxiliary verbs. For example, he is working on a project. So he working on project is not correct now. So he is, there is no specific meaning for is actually there. There is no specific meaning for it, but it is just a helping verb in order to just complete the sentence. In order to complete the sentence, is working as an verb, helping verb, which we call it as auxiliary verbs. Okay, now friends. And similarly, we have modals. What is meant by modals, ma? Verbs am, is, are, was, were, have, had, does, dare to, need to, used to, ought to are modals. Only these aspects are all modals. Why are we calling it as modals, ma? They are used before ordinary verbs to express meanings such as permissions, please underline this, if at all those verbs are made in order to take a permission or to discuss about some possibilities or certainties and necessities. In those four aspects, if at all you use any of these things, in which four aspects, my dear friends? In order to take permission, or in order to discuss about any possibilities or a certainty or a necessity. In these four aspects, if at all you try to use any verb. Example, you see, I can drive a car. So here what are you trying to do? Here you are talking about a possibility. What is that possibility? Your ability to drive a car. You are telling them that you can drive a car. You are talking about a possibility. I can possibility. You may come in. It means you are actually giving permission. You may come in. If you want, you come in. No problem. You are giving permission. You should obey the laws. I am giving an order to you. Okay, it means certainty and necessity. We are talking about we should obey laws. It means it's an obligation that we have to follow. Understanding, friends? So here what is happening? Of course, here again that am, is, was, same auxiliary verbs only. But if the auxiliary verbs are used to take permission or to discuss about possibilities, certainties and uncertainties, so such kind of auxiliary verbs only becomes our modals. Understanding, friends? Modals are not different. Auxiliary verbs, if they are intending, if the use is intended to take permissions, or the use of auxiliary verbs is intended to discuss about possibilities, then such auxiliary verbs becomes our modals as well. Understanding, ma? Modals as well. Okay. Next we have what, my dear friends? Transitive verbs. What is meant by transitive verbs, ma? Are action verbs that always express double activities. Okay, doable activities. So here we are always discussing about what, ma? Doable. Understand? For example, have direct objects, meanings and blah 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 blah. Okay, fine, no problem. But if you see here, Meher spoke the truth. It means spoke. Already she did it, which is doable. If at all you want to do it, I want to do it, it is done, already done. Next, the driver stopped the car, already stopped, doable. Okay, and the donkey kicked the washerman, doable. It means we are talking about all these transitive verbs have already happened. Understand? All these transitive verbs have already happened. The situation, we have already crossed them and they have already happened, which we call them as what? Transitive verbs. Understand? Which have just happened or happened earlier, which have already happened, doable, it's already done. Understand? We call them as what, ma? We call them as transitive verbs. And finally we have intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs means what? It denotes an action that does not pass over to an object. So it does not pass on to an object. It does not pass to an object, my dear friends. Already in our discussion we have already discussed subject, direct object, indirect object and all. In case if any verb does not pass through an object, means what? For example, he ran a long distance. He means who here? Don't know. Okay, long distance. Okay, for what purpose? Don't know. Just he ran for a long distance, that's it. Is it a competition, or is he running for any medication, or he is running because it is raining? Understand? Or he is running because dog is behind him, dog is chasing him. What for? We did not mention. So it means the main objective of what he is doing is not mentioned. Similarly, the baby sleeps 12 hours a day. For what? Is she not well, or her nature is like that? Don't know. It means the objective of the statement is not given. There is a flaw in the design. Which design? What is the flaw? Who asked you to design? Okay, what was the original design? What was the corrected design? All these things also were not discussed, where if at all you observe in intransitive verbs, the object is not, the verb has not been passed through the object. It means what for? The actual intentions, etc., etc. will not be revealed, which we call it as what, ma? Intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs. Okay, now whatever I'm highlighting here, please underline that, so that while repeating, while revising, you have to please go through them. Okay, now friends, now let us get back to our phrases. Already we understood the meaning of phrase, right? Let us get into details of the phrase, a bit more phrases. Okay, already we discussed what is meant by phrase, my dear friends. It's a group of related words that make sense but not complete sense. That's what does not make any complete sense. Already we have discussed phrase is something which you are talking something, you are communicating something, but complete sense will not be given. That is our phrase. But a clause, it will completely give the complete sense also. We have already discussed about that. It may not have a subject or a predicate or both. Sometimes anything may be missing, and these phrases can be divided into different types. Again, prepositional phrase, noun phrase, verbal phrase. Totally we have 3 different types of phrases, my dear friends. What are those? One by one we will see. Have a look at this. Prepositional phrase means what? That begin with the preposition. That begins with what? If at all a sentence begins with a preposition and are followed generally by a noun or pronoun or anything that acts as a noun. Okay, that acts as a noun. Best example is gerund. Already for gerund, what did we discuss, ma? Already for gerund, what did we discuss? Come back. Where is that gerund? Gerund, what did we discuss, ma? If at all anything ends with ing. Okay, so if a noun ending with ing, it becomes our gerund verb, right? Similarly, a prepositional phrase also happens in the same way. Best example is gerund. In what way? There is a preposition and are generally followed by noun or pronoun or anything that acts as a noun. Anything that acts as a noun. So it means we are talking about a phrase. A phrase will contain a noun or a pronoun. Noun means what? I, you, he. Okay, now noun means names of the persons. For example, Vyas is a noun. Okay, for example, Aishwarya is a noun. Understand? Pronoun, I, you, they, he, she, pronouns. All these nouns and pronouns, okay, are generally followed by preposition is being followed by all these things. Examples you see. For example, she gave the book to him. Now, what is the preposition here? Giving the book is the preposition. Correct, ma? Giving the book is the preposition. To whom? To him. To that fellow. Him is a pronoun. So, if you observe, a preposition is being followed by a pronoun, noun or a pronoun. For example, the car is stuck in the pothole. In the pothole. This pothole is our noun. Okay. Is stuck is our pronoun, is our preposition. So preposition followed by a noun or pronoun. Similarly, mother prepares food for the entire family. So entire family is my noun, and preposition is mother preparing the food is my preposition. Correct, amma? So here if you observe, if a preposition is being followed by a noun or pronoun, you usually call that as what, ma? Prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase. Okay, namma? Okay. 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 Fine. And remaining everything is okay. Now let us get into noun phrase means what? A phrase that does the function as a noun is a noun phrase. And again, a phrase that does the function of a noun. Now what is meant by noun, my dear friends? You're talking about names of the people, names of the places, names of the objects, names of the animals, what are we the case. Now, if at all a phrase works as a noun, you call it as a noun phrase. Noun phrases are composed of a noun or pronoun and its modifiers also. Modifiers means what? As we discussed, am, is, all these things. They are used as subjects, objects or complements. Examples you see. For example, the strange creaking sounds scared the inmates of the house. Here if you observe one thing, friends, what is a noun phrase? Noun phrase is used as a subject. Okay. Okay. Inmates of the house. Here is our noun of the subject. Who is the subject? Inmates. So that inmates is our noun. Pronoun, probably you can say noun or pronoun, whatever the case. Okay. Inmates of the house is this one. And if you observe, it has actually, the creaking sounds actually scared them. Scaring is a verb. Scaring something is a verb. verb followed by your inmates of the house. So get back to the definition again. A phrase that does the function of a noun. A phrase that does the function of a noun is a noun phrase. If you observe here, what is the complete phrase is all about? Some sounds, some strange and creaking sounds have come which actually scared the inmates of the house is the total phrase, ma. But here most important aspect is it has scared whom? Inmates of the house. It means the entire phrase is focusing on the inmates. Scared whom? That is most important. It is it has scared inmates. So it means the entire phrase works to focus on my nouns. Understand? Which we call it as noun phrase. For example, you see one more. Sarita eats a lot of food at lunch. Okay, here if you observe, noun phrase as an object it is used over here. Okay, noun phrase as an object here. For example, you see Sarita eats a lot. If at all I stop it here, if at all I stop my sentence, Sarita eats a lot. It's just a statement, it's a phrase. Sarita eats a lot. Okay, fine. But when does she eat more? At lunch. At lunch. So it means at lunch and food. Food is an object, and when will she eat? At lunch. So here we are focusing much on food at lunch is more and more important. It means she doesn't eat much food at the breakfast time and she doesn't eat much food on dinner time. She eats only during lunch time. So here the entire phrase is focusing on food at the lunch time. Food, object, at the lunch time, noun. Food is the object, noun is our lunch. Understanding, friends? So at that time, if at all you are using it, nama, it becomes our noun phrase. Very simple. It requires some practice, friends. I don't say you will understand all these things at one shot. Okay, probably in our school also we would have studied, but we would have forgotten. I do agree with you, but my request to you is, out of practice, out of thinking, out of you speaking to yourself with different similar examples, you can understand it very well. Okay, Namma? It requires some practice, of course. Next, ma'am. The beach is a great place for picnic. Noun phrase as a compliment. Here if you see beach, everybody knows about beach, but here what we are talking about, we are adding an adjective to it. What is the adjective? A great place for picnic. Great place for picnic. Here picnic and great place both are objects, frankly speaking. Sorry, noun. Picnic is our noun. Okay, great place, we are talking about an adjective to the we are adding an adjective to the object. Okay, great place to the this one. Understanding, friend? If at all I'm talking only about beach, doesn't matter, but we are talking about its adjectives also, which becomes our noun phrase as complement. So it means a noun can be as a subject also, a noun phrase as an object also, noun phrase as a complement also. It can be in any possible manner. Okay, now friends, I do understand you require some more emphasis. Okay, you require some more emphasis. I do agree with you, friends, but please ensure that you are practicing these things a bit more. Okay, Nama, you will understand it. Okay, chalo, next. A verbal phrase. Last one is our verbal phrase. Consists of the main verb and one or more helping verbs linking together. That is very, 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 very important. Please underline. Okay, so in verbal phrase, what happens? Phrase means what? A group of words. In the group of words, what will happen, ma? A main verb will be there, and also one or more helping verbs also may be there together to link them. Understand? Main verb and helping verbs also may be there. In what example, ma? For example, you see here, Sham has eaten a chocolate. For example, has eaten. You see, eaten is a verb, has a helping verb also. Understand? For example, Sham was eating a chocolate. Okay, Sham was eating. It means we are talking about past. Okay, in the past he was eating. Understand? Already. For example, has already eaten. For example, has already eaten. Eaten is our main verb. Has already is our helping verbs. Understand? Must have been eating. So eating is our verb, main verb. Must have been helping verbs. Have been helping verbs. Understanding, friends? Like this, if at all in any phrase, it means a group of words. If there is a verb and also you have one or more helping verbs attached together, we call them as verbal phrase. Understanding, friends? I hope you are following. Okay, let me just check, are there any sort of comments or questions asked? Okay, questions nothing were asked. Okay, good, ma. I hope you are able to follow. Okay, of course, as I'm continuously repeating it, friends, you require a lot of practice of this. Okay, good. Next, of course, there is a positive verb. For example, verb phrase, sometimes what happens, it can be an auxiliary or modal verb plus auxiliary verb plus auxiliary verb plus main verb. It can be in any format as given above. For example, you see, has is our auxiliary verb and eaten is our main verb. So you are adding an auxiliary verb to our main verb. That's what they are trying to say over here. Okay, Namma? Now, here, what is meant here, we have already discussed something called complement. Correct, Amma? So when we are discussing about noun phrase as a complement also can be used. All of you know the basic meaning of an complement. Complement means what? All of you know very well. Compliment means I compliment. You are beautiful. I'm complimenting you. I'm actually trying to make some attribute. I'm adding some adjectives. I'm attributing to how you look like. Correct, Amma? For example, you are a good girl. I'm trying to say you are a girl, of course, and you are good. So I'm trying to add some attribute which we call it as a compliment. That compliment, friends, probably, okay, what it will do, it will complete the meaning of the subject or an object or a verb. Okay, if at all any word, a word or a group of words which completes the meaning of it, we call it as complement. For example, you see, that can be of three types. Subject complement can be there, object complement can be there, verbal complement also can be there. Some subject complement means what, ma? Refers to the subject. Yes, please underline that. So if the complement is referring to the subject, main subject of it. For example, you see, Kamala is pretty. So who is pretty? Kamala. Kamala is my main subject and we are actually telling her what kind of a person she is. She is pretty. Miss Monica Sharma is an English teacher. She is a teacher, but what kind of a teacher? English teacher. So here complement is that she is an English teacher. You can say, okay, understand, and we are referring it to Monica Sharma, so she is our subject. Similarly, object complement can also be there. Object complement means what? Follows and modifies or refers to direct object. So here we are trying to actually talk about, we are referring to an object. Understand? Not just the subject. For example, I consider Indian television negative. For example, television is the direct object. Negative describes television. It is the object complement. Understand? Complement doesn't mean that it should always be in positive, friends. It can be negative also. You are a bad girl. Okay, you are a worst girl. Okay, you are like, if at all I say that is also compliment only. Compliment can be positive also, negative also. It need not necessarily always be praising you. I can even say, yeah, if at all even I talk about negative also. In simple terms, compliment is nothing but I'm describing the nature of a subject or an object or a verb. Understanding, friends? That's what is your complement. Let it be, a complement can be positive also, negative also. Both can be there. That's what we are discussing here. Object. For example, here Indian television is negative, they are saying. So here Indian television is our direct object. We are not referring to any person, you or me or they. We are not referring. We are referring to an Indian television, which is our object. It is not a person. So object is negative. Complement only. For example, the judge elected her Miss Universe 2016. So here what we are trying to do? Her means we are not talking about a specific person. Okay, her is a, of course, her one single person, direct object. And what happened? She's elected as Miss Universe. So obviously Miss Universe is a compliment. Understand that we are attributing to the particular girl. Fine, sir. Now, what is meant by verb complements are direct or indirect object of a verb. It may be a noun, pronoun, blah, 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 all these things. Okay. Sushma gave, observe very carefully, Shaili my chocolate. Shaili is our indirect object. My chocolate is the direct object of a verb gave. Okay, so here if you understand one thing, you need to understand few points very carefully. Sushma, direct object, gave, verb giving, verb gave. Shyly, some other person, shyly, my chocolate, noun. So here what are you trying to do? What did you do with the chocolate? You gave it. What did you do with the chocolate? You gave it. Sometimes what I say, Sushma ate my chocolate. So eating is my verb. Giving, thrown, Sushma thrown my chocolate, thrown away my chocolate. So the throwing will become my verb, but that verb will describe what have you done with the noun. What have you done with the object? What is your object there? Chocolate. So what have you done with the chocolate? That is where verbal complement is all about. What did you do with the noun? Did you eat? Did you give? Did you throw it away? Understand? Did you put it in the fire? What did you do? So you are trying to complement, you are trying to explain what did you do with the object by talking about an action. That action is my verb. That action is my verb. Got it, friends? Okay. Amma, thank you so much. Till now we have completed different types of phrases, clauses, direct objects, indirect objects, complements, verbs, all these stuff. Nama. Now let us get into the main topic. Actually we are getting into the main topic now. Types of sentences. This is the main topic now. Okay, if you would have understood all the first initial discussions, if you would have understand, now this is going to be the main class now. What is that? We are talking about what, types of sentences. Please pay attention. We have 4 types of sentences. Very important session. Okay, very important session. I did not tell this till now, but this is very important. Declarative statements. Name itself is telling you are trying to declare something. Imperative statements, interrogative statements, exclamatory statements. Let us see one by one what actually are these sentences all about. Declarative sentences, you are declaring, the name itself is telling, simply make a statement or express an opinion. You are declaring what? Declaring a statement, or you are trying to express an opinion. Understand? For example, you see it is raining. It's a declaration. Yes, it is raining. You are telling them it is raining. Correct, amma? And also the child is going to school. So here you are talking about the child that is going to the school. There is no question back. There is no nothing. So it is a simple statement that you are saying the child is going. Honesty is the best policy. Of course, it's a universal truth. It's an opinion. Of course, it's an opinion. You are trying to tell your opinion. Barking dogs seldom bite. Proverb, of course. Dogs, those which are barking will not bite. That is our what do you call that? That is a regular statement, which is a universal truth. Everybody knows about that, but you are telling that as a statement, my dear friends, which we call it as what? Declarative statements. Similarly, she should not shout at elders. You are trying to tell them. You are trying to tell your opinion. She should not do like this, yeah. She should not be shouting at the elders like this. You are trying to tell your opinion like this. Negative, of course, which is a negative opinion, of course. Next, my friend is a good actor. Again, you are telling your opinion over here. So it means if at all you try to express any statement or express your opinion, you call them as what? Declarative statements. Okay, sir. Apart from that, we have something called imperative statements. What is imperative statements, ma? If at all you express an order or command or advice or request or proposal or suggestion, you call them as imperative. You call them as what? Imperative. What are you expressing? It can be an order. You do this. Take this table, put it in the next room. Order. Command. Similar way, or military command kind of thing. Advise. I advise you, please do your chartered accountancy program properly. Come on, you are in the right path. Advice. Request. Please give me a pen. Proposal. No, I'll not propose. Okay. Proposal can be, okay, I propose, for example, I come to your college and I wanted to launch a new program. So what I will do, I'll put up a proposal. I propose the college that I want to start a new program in our college, which is a proposal. Or it can be a suggestion also. Friend, from tomorrow, ma, please ensure that you bring your calculator to the class. Understand? It's a suggestion that I'm giving you. So it can be, if at all such kind of things are there in the statement, in the sentence, we call that as what? Imperative sentences. For example, you can see, please listen to me, request. Get lost. command. Let's go for a long drive, suggestion. Okay, this one looks good, advice. Okay, Namma, such kind of things are called imperative sentences. Feeling easy? Next, we have got interrogative sentence also. Amma, interrogative sentences means what? If at all you try to ask a question or interrogate or interrogative sentences, it means here interrogative sentence is all about interrogation. Interrogation means what? You ask questions. If at all you form sentences in order to ask questions, get reply from them, in order to get reply from them, you call them as what, my dear friends? Interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentences. For example, you can see, what is your name, where do you live, who can help me solve the problem, okay, why did you shout, do you know, did you know where Sita lives? All these things becomes our interrogative sentences, where I'm trying to interrogate, question. Those are my interrogative statements. Sentences. Similarly, we have exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences means what, ma? Sentence that expresses strong feelings or emotions. Please underline that. So if at all you try to give, if you try to share some sort of strong feelings or emotions, understand, friends, that emotions can be in a joy or a sorrow or a regret or surprise, wonder, it can be anything. For example, you go to your lover or husband and say, I love you. Okay, so it means you are expressing your love, emotion towards them, or sometimes feelings towards them. For example, you go and say, your dress is awesome. So their awesome is my feeling about the dress that you are wearing. So I'm expressing my feeling or emotion there. Examples are given over here. What a beautiful piece of art. Wow. Hooray! We won the match. We are expressing our joy. Alas, the pet died. Oh my God. When did you come? Surprise. What a shame. Regret. What a shame. Cha. Next. Okay, friends. So those are the different types of sentences. What are the different types of sentences we have discussed, friends? First of all, declarative sentences. We are declaring something. Interrogative, asking questions. Exclamatory. Imperative statements. Imperative statements is all about commanding or advising, requesting, all these things. Interrogative statements, asking questions. Exclamatory, giving your emotions and feelings, sharing your emotions and feelings, is called exclamatory. Finally, we have classification of sentences based on structure. Please underline this. We are trying to find out different classification of sentences based on structure. Till now, what did we do? We have divided based on their function. According to the function, we have divided. Understand, depending on what actually is being done there, what is the work that is being done there, we divided into 4 types. Okay, declarative, imperative, etc, etc. But now, depending based on the structure of the sentence, we are dividing into 4 different sentences. What are those 4 different types? Simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, complex and compound sentences, both mixed together. Acha. Simple sentence means what? A structure contains only one subject and one predicate. Simple. You will have one subject, one predicate. Understand? Subject is all about to whom you are referring to. Predicate means what are they doing, what did they do. All these things will come into predicate. Correct, amma? It has just one finite verb. So it will have only one finite verb. It means because we are referring only to one subject, there will be only one finite verb. Finite verb means what, ma? Where if the verb changes depending on the person, depending on the subject, if the verb changes. Just now we discussed. Okay, now that is a normal rule. For example, I walk. It's simple sentence. Who is this? Shamali ran after her little brother. Simple sentence. Ran after her little brother. In great anger, the man shouted and yelled at his lazy son. Okay, in what way? In great anger, the man shouted and yelled at the lazy son. So these something like we are talking about one single subject and a predicate, what they have done. Understand, friends? One single subject and what they have done. Understand? We call it as what? One subject and a predicate. If at all a sentence has got one subject and only one predicate, we call them as what, ma? Simple sentences. We call them as what? Simple sentences. Okay, but in case let us move forward. What is meant by compound sentence, ma? Compound sentence means two or more main or independent clauses put together, if at all you make. It means, what does it mean? Clause means what? A group of words which conveys the meaning. But here what you are doing, you are not just using one clause, you are using two or more clauses also. Those clauses can be main or independent clause. Those clauses are main and independent clauses. If you remember, in clauses we have discussed main clause or independent clause, dependent clause or subclauses. Subclause we have already discussed that. Okay, here we are discussing what kind of compound sentences, friends, where in the sentence you have two or more main clauses. Understanding, friends? And of course, when we are using main clause, it definitely does not have to be a dependent clause, obviously, because it's a main clause. It need not be dependent clause. Okay, please underline this. How many you are using? Two clauses you are using in this. Those two clauses are adjoined by coordinating conjunction, a comma or a semicolon or even a colon. Here we are talking about two different clauses, but those two different clauses are connected through what? A comma or a semicolon or a colon. Please put that. Understand, friends? It means, in simple terms, if at all in a sentence, if you get a semicolon or a colon or a comma, it can be a compound sentence. Examples you see, my dear friends, here. The robber tried to escape, but the police caught him. If you observe here, the robber tried to escape is one clause. The police caught him is a second clause. Those two are connected by a small coordinating conjunction called but. That's what they even told you. Coordinating conjunctions can also be such as for, and, not, but, and. All these things also can be part of our coordinating conjunction. Okay, Nama? You can even take those words also as a part of coordinating conjunctions. Understand? Okay. Now, if at all you observe, I will decide what I have to do. One clause, you are requested not to interfere. That is another clause. These two clauses are added by attached by what, a semicolon over here. Okay, semicolon. Okay, Nama? Similarly, colon or semicolon, whatever the case. Next, the law has passed is one clause. From 1st July, all businesses have to comply with GST norms. Second clause. Those two clauses are connected by a colon, a semicolon, whatever the case. Understand? Like that, if at all you try to add two clauses with some kind of coordinating conjunctions, that coordinating conjunctions can be a colon, comma, semicolon, colon, or it can be words such as all these things. Then we call such kind of a sentence as what, my dear friends? Compound sentence. In compound sentence, we use main or independent clauses. Independent clauses we will use. It means they don't depend on anything else. They themselves will give you complete meaning. But if at all you use one or more dependent clauses, okay, one or more dependent clauses, it becomes our complex sentence. That is where you need to understand the difference between compound and complex. In compound, what are you trying to do, my dear friends? In compound sentences, you are trying to add two or more independent clauses, but here you are trying to use one or more. It means even a one single dependent clause also can be a part of complex sentence, no problem. Understand, friends? So examples you see here, indicating time, for example, examples you see over here. Okay, the boy ran away when he saw the lion. Okay, here one main clause is of course there. What is that? The boy ran away is our main clause, but it is added by when he saw. When he saw is the connecting. When he saw the lion. Okay, when he, it becomes our probably when is our connecting word. Okay, one subordinate clause. What did he do? He saw the lion. He saw a lion is completely a dependent clause. He saw a lion. Who is he? It's a indirect this one. Understand? Dependent clause. So the dependent clause and the main clause are connected by when. So this when becomes our coordinating conjunction. So what kind of coordinating or subordinating conjunctions will be? It can be a time, it can be a place, it can be a manner, it can be a reason. The connecting things can be, it can be a condition, it can be a concession, it can be in any format. For example, if it is time, after, before, since, when. Here we have used when. When is our time based subordinating conjunction. Okay, whenever, while, until, as, once, as long as. These are all words used in order to attach, okay, dependent clause. Becomes a complex sentences. Understand? Similarly, place, where, wherever. Manner, as if, as though, how. Reason, because, since, that, why. All these things are reason based things. Indicate condition, if, unless, until, in case. All these things are used as a conjunction points. Understand? Which are used to attach, okay, clauses in a sentence. For example, you see second example, when he saw a bear, he climbed the nearest tree because he was terrified. For example, when he saw the bear, he climbed the nearest tree because he was terrified. If you observe, he climbed the tree. What did he do? He climbed. What did he do? Understand? So he climbed the tree, and because he was terrified. If you see, there are three sentences in this which are all connected by a comma over here. Understanding, friends? Such kind of things, and all are dependent one only. All are dependent ones. Next, I think you should ask him personally. If condition, if it is convenient for him, before time based, you call him. Understand? One or more also can be part of it. Just now we discussed, Namma, in complex, there can be one or more than one subordinate clauses can be there. Understand? But they are connected by conjunctions. Understand, that conjunctions can be time based or reason based or logic based, whatever be the list they have given. Understanding, friends? If you do that, it is simple. So you have to understand very important point. Compound sentences are connected by, compound sentence means two or more main clauses. Complex sentences means one or more sub clauses connected. Okay, those points you have to be very careful. Okay, in examinations they will try to test you such kind of points. Okay, Nama? Good. Next. Of course, in complex sentence, what happens? Subordinate clause functions within the sentence as adjectives, adverbs, or nouns. Sometimes you will use the subordinate clauses. It means the dependent clauses, you will use them as adjectives, as adverbs, or as nouns. For example, you see, the star performer at the concert choose dresses which would look good on her. Okay, big sentence given to us. You try to understand. The star performer is our main clause. Star performer at the concert is our main clause. Okay, but what is he doing? Chooses dress, choosing verb. Okay, verb which would look good on her. Which looking good on her. What looks good on her? It's a sub main depending one. It will completely depend on something else. What looks good? Color, design, okay, model, what does it look like? It depends on other aspects also, but those are connected with this kind of things. Understand? So it means here we are using a subordinate clause as an here looks good adjective. We are looking good, looks good is our adjective. Understand? Looks good is our adjective. So it means you are trying to use what, my dear friends? A subclause, you are trying to use a dependent clause, subordinating clause as an adjective you are using over here. Understand, friends? Similarly, examples are given where subordinating clause is used as an adverb here. Okay, you can see the example. When the food arrived, the children ate everything. Eating is our verb. everything is our adverb. Everything they ate, adverb. Understanding, friends? Okay. Next, noun clause. Sometimes that subclause will be acting as a noun clause also. That it will rain seems likely. Okay, if at all you observe over here, that it will rain is our main clause. Okay, seems likely. Seems likely means we are talking about the person, place, or a thing. For example, that it will rain serves as a subject of the sentence. It will rain is a subject main. Sentence is considered as complex sentence because it has both an independent clause, it seems like, and dependent clause, that it will rain. Both are there in that. Okay, but I don't know why did they give it as a noun clause. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why did they give it as a noun clause. Okay, but this example is not exactly suitable, but noun clause, they gave it like that. Okay, finally we understood three types of sentence till now. What are those, my dear friends? Simple sentences. Simple sentence, what will happen, friends? You will have one subject and one predicate. Simple sentence. And if it is complex sentence, you will have two or more independent clauses. Compound sentences, one or more dependent clauses you will have, you call them as complex sentence. Now complex compound sentence, combination of those two, where there are two or more independent clauses plus one or more dependent clauses, we call them as compound complex sentences. Understanding, friends? It means both, there will be two or more independent clause will also be there, one or more dependent clause will also be there, which we call them as what? Compound complex compound sentences. Of course, there are examples given over here. You please have a look at this, friends. You please revise this. Okay, so my request for all of you, friends, today itself, okay, of course today we'll have account session at 4 o'clock, right? So we are going to continue with accounting concepts. We have started discussion yesterday. 4 o'clock we'll have that class today as well. Okay, but before that, what I request you is, till now we discussed 10 pages of this chapter 2. Okay, 10 pages we have discussed. All these 10 pages, ensure that you are revising in full. Try to gain such kind of a common sense. Okay, what have you learned in your school? What did I teach you now? Okay, try to revise the 2 videos that I have discussed today and our previous class. Both you please revise. Ensure that you please get the common sense of all these things, so that as I told you, this Saturday, it means tomorrow I'm not going to take class, friends. I'll be taking class again on Sunday. On Sunday we will start with active, passive voice and all these things. These are all very simple, which you will be remembering from your school days. I am very sure of it. We will finish off all these aspects. Okay, active and passive voice we can finish off, and I think one more class, direct and indirect speech, we can finish off. One more session. Okay, one more session, I think direct and indirect speech we can finish it off. That's it. Is that the case? We have that's it. We have, I think after today we require 2 more classes to finish off this chapter, friends. Sentence types we can finish off in 2 more chapters. Active and passive speech in one class, direct and indirect speech in the other class. 2 classes this chapter will be over. But my request is, please practice all these things right now. Okay, you should get a clarity of what is main clause, what is dependent clause or subordinating clause, what is a phrase, what is a subject, what is an object, what is a predicate. Okay, so all these things you should have a clarity, friends. Please get that clarity. Please revise as many as number of times that you can, and please ensure that you are ready for the next class. Okay.